Welcome to another episode of Cadence Fishing TV. I'm fishing today at Goresworth Fishery, which is near to Macclesfield. After the really hard long winter we've had, it feels like spring has finally sprung. And I'm already catching some beautiful fish, like I think that's a roach bream hybrid. I've had some nice sized roach, a few rudd and 3-eyed, which I haven't caught for a long time, so it's already proving to be a really interesting and enjoyable session. Well, Goresworth Fishery is situated at Goresworth Hall, and it's an absolutely beautiful area. It's a venue that Chappie the cameraman has been raving about, and I can see why. It's just a beautiful area with the hall and these lakes. I think they're really nice. They're very natural looking, and I just think it's a wonderful place to be. There's a total of 6 lakes here, and the lake that we've selected to fish today is called Walpole. And as you can see, it's quite windy. The wind's blowing into this corner, and Chappie explained that these pegs here around this corner area are normally very reliable, and I think it's a little bit deeper, and it just gave us the option today, not quite knowing how it was going to fish. There's another smaller roach. I've had some up to 10 ounces already. Been fishing for about an hour now, and we just felt that having this bit of extra depth would help if the fishing wasn't great and the fish were still holding up in that deeper water. My tactics to start with was to fish with a bigger waggler at full depth. And my thinking there was, I plumbed up very quickly to start with, and I found around about 6 to 7 foot of water just on a nice cast with the waggler. I didn't want to go too far today because of this wind blowing into the corner. It would make presentation difficult. And the waggler I went for was this loaded version, and it's 3.5 gram Drennan loaded insert waggler, and that was absolutely perfect to start with, because I started off by just gradually loose feeding, and I did catch fish on the bottom. Had some nice skimmers and roach, and then quite quickly it was apparent that the fish were moving up in the water, so I shallowed that rig up to around about 4 foot, caught some more fish, and then switched over to this lighter waggler that I'm catching on now. Loose feeding and fishing a waggler like this is such a versatile method. You can really gauge how the fish are responding and change your presentation appropriately. By loose feeding every cast, I've just been loose feeding 10 to 20 casters every cast. The fish did really come up in the water, and I'm now fishing with this 2AA insert crystal waggler, and I've actually got no shot down the line. I'm probably fishing about 1.5 foot at the moment, and it's been absolutely great, because to get regular bites like this has just been absolutely brilliant fun. And I was definitely a little bit rusty to start with. The fish were giving themselves away by swirling, so I knew that the fish had come right up in the water, and I'm catching a variety of different sized fish. Hopefully we'll get another ride soon, because they're an absolutely spectacular fish. I don't really get the chance to catch them very often in the UK, so they're quite novel really, but they're definitely feeding right up in the water. Since the fish have come up in the water and started feeding near the surface, I found the best tactics has been to obviously bait up, drop my rig in the margins, and then loose feed my casters and cast past the feed, and then just gently draw the hook bait in amongst that loose feed. Because the bites are happening so quickly, I just simply wasn't having time to cast and then feed. I was missing too many bites. It's not making it easy with the wind, but the other thing in my mind is I'm trying to drop a bit of loose feed a bit closer and try and tempt the fish a bit closer, just to help really to hit the bites and connect with the fish. Well, I just bumped a couple of fish, so I'm going to change my hook. The hook I'm using is a 16 Kamasan B510, and I started off fishing double maggot or caster, and now I'm just fishing single red maggot on the hook. But I'd caught quite a few fish on that hook and it had definitely gone a bit blunt, so always good to change the hook. The hook length I'm using is 010, which has a breaking strain of around about 2 pound. So again, I didn't know the venue, so I just wanted to start off and get some bites, and if I start hooking some better fish then I'll step that hook length up, but at the moment it's working really well. So that I've just fed and just cast past the feed, sink the line whilst I retrieve it back into the feed. And then you've got to be right on the float like a hawk, because sometimes like that it went straight away. And I don't know if this is, I think this is another nicer roach. Oh no, it's a small skimmer. So I love fishing on lakes like this because it's such a busy method. I think, you know, a lot of people might sit it out for 1 or 2 big carp, which is fine, but when you're fishing like this, you're really never sure what your next fish is going to be, and I really love that. It's such an active method, and it's sort of mirrors how I fish on the river really, just trying to maximise everything I can in terms of catching all the fish that I can, and just really enjoying myself. It's been such a hard winter. To catch fish shallow like this is just wonderful. We've got the birds singing as well, and it's just great to be out.